there may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. And it also requires us to continue the same path of basic research that is being done here at the NIH, that Nancy is a great example of, so that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment. And we're further along to be able to catch it.
Speed and kind of pace with which it's spread. When you look at it, what is it that you think it tells us about maybe the potential for pandemics or anything?
We're going to have to get quicker and nimbler at developing biomedical responses, the vaccines or whatever, or cures.
It is vital that our nation discuss and address the threat of pandemic flu now. There is no pandemic flu in our country or in the world at this time. But if we wait for a pandemic to appear, it will be too late to prepare. Scientists and doctors cannot tell us where or when the next pandemic will strike or how severe it'll be. But most agree, at some point we are likely to face another pandemic. A pandemic is a lot like a forest fire. If caught early, it might be extinguished with limited damage. If allowed to smolder, undetected, it can grow to an inferno that spreads quickly beyond our ability to control it. Our strategy is designed to meet three critical goals. First, we must detect outbreaks that occur anywhere in the world. Second, we must protect the American people by stockpiling vaccines and antiviral drugs and improve our ability to rapidly produce new vaccines against a pandemic strain. And third, we must be ready to respond at the federal, state, and local levels in the event that a pandemic reaches our shores. To meet these three goals, our strategy will require the combined efforts of government officials and public health, medical, veterinary, and law enforcement communities, and the private sector. It will require the active participation of the American people, and it will require the immediate attention of the United States Congress, so we can have the resources in place to begin implementing this strategy right away. And one day, many lives could be needlessly lost because we failed to act today. By preparing now, we can give our citizens some peace of mind knowing that our nation is ready to act at the first sign of danger, and that we have the plans in place to prevent and, if necessary, withstand an influenza pandemic. In a pandemic, an infection carried by one person can be transmitted to many other people, and so every American must take personal responsibility for stopping the spread of the virus. To provide Americans with more information about pandemics, we're launching a new website, pandemicflu.gov. That ought to be easy for people to remember. Pandemicflu.gov. The website will keep our citizens informed about the preparations underway, steps they can take now to prepare for a pandemic, and what every American can do to decrease their risk of contracting and spreading the disease in the event of an outbreak. A pandemic is unlike other natural disasters. Outbreaks can happen simultaneously in hundreds or even thousands of locations at the same time. And unlike storms or floods, which strike in an instant and then recede, a pandemic can continue spreading destruction in repeated waves that can last for a year or more.
Your car, sir. You're taking your car. No, I'm not. I'm immune. I've already had it. And my daughter's not sick.
We have exhausted our supply of meals ready to eat for today.
What?
Please remain calm. You'll be set free. Hey, can we get some help over here?
Know what I told you, but now I'm telling you we're facing a new strain. What? It spreads like the flu. You got 19 dead, you got hundreds more infected, and it's spreading like a brush fire. You got to isolate the sick, and I mean really isolate them, Billy. We got to get everybody else back into their houses. We got to keep them there.
Like so many epidemics before, the loss of so many lives began with a single microscopic organism, the Rika virus, spread among the population of Glasgow like a common cold. It claimed the lives of thousands in the first week. The airports, seaports, and borders were closed. The people were ordered to stay in their homes, to avoid travel, avoid contact.
Excuse me, sir. Would you mind letting me have a look at the contents of your bag, please?
Biological samples. I have the papers right here.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to open this up, sir.
Open it.
It's empty.
Well, yes, to be sure. It looks empty. But I assure you it's not.
Virus.
There, you see? Also invisible to the naked eye. It doesn't even have an odor.
We've lost entire cities.
When there's no more people left to infect, they go dormant. Whole cities are lost.
The World Health Organization has created a vaccine that works as a kind of camouflage, making people who receive it invisible to the infected.
Delivering the vaccine to areas that have been cordoned off.
Distribution efforts began in earnest.
The importance of